Alright, in this video, I'm going to be roasting my old videos. Now, a lot of you guys don't know this, but I actually have this TikTok account called Money Mind News, which has been basically talking about all the things that I talk about on this YouTube channel, but I've had this account for like over a year. So that's just to show you guys like how many reps it actually takes to get like good, get comfortable on camera. You can see here, these were some of my earliest videos, and then as I scroll, there's just so many. You can see I barely even had any hair here. There's so many videos before I actually start like really popping off, and this is way before I even started this YouTube channel right here. I mean, I'm just gonna take a quick scroll right now, but you guys, look at how many videos there are that I've posted to this TikTok. Again, this is what it takes, like how many reps you have to get in before you get a single stroke of luck. And granted, I got lucky with this YouTube channel, the fact that one of my videos popped off like crazy, but look how much went into it before I ended up getting lucky, even just one time. Anyways, so I wanted to review some of these videos, which I had posted on this document. So this is a document. If you go to the version history, you can see that the last edit was on March 5th, 2024, so pretty much 1 year ago. And this document is literally just called What My Channel Is About. So this whole idea of transparency and branding and money that I had for this channel that you're watching this on, this isn't something new. This is an idea I literally had over a year ago, and I've documented exactly the types of things that I want to make videos about and that I want to stand for. So yeah, let's start by going through what I wrote down here. So first of all, one thing that my channel is about is making money stupidly or creatively. The description I put for this is people that made a decent amount of money in a short amount of time with very little work and very little skill, typically through a method that is gatekept or poorly understood. These side hustles are often done online, but not always. The first example I had is this guy who apparently was making $3,000 a month by posting these stupid videos on Facebook like this, where he would pretty much just clickbait. He would just say, "My cleaner always forgot to do this." It would look like something's about to happen. Oh. And then nothing even really happens. He just literally does nothing. And the videos end up getting like tons of views and making him money. The second one was this guy who reposts animal videos on TikTok and makes 10K per month. And this actually laid the groundwork for the business that I'm doing right now, reposting animal videos. And a lot of you guys don't know this, but I actually did a video on my co-founder right here. It was a while ago, but we went over like exactly how much he was making with it, and it was pretty crazy.
That's each day, yeah.
So like over 1,000 on some days.
Oh yeah, most days I'd say.
Over $1,000 per day. That's $365,000 per year.
That's pretty cool. I have some other stuff here, like people making money with Snapchat, which I have plenty of videos about, or people making money with podcast clips. Now, this is one of my first videos on my channel. Now, this is one of the videos that I posted, so let's review this video and see how I was on camera back then.
I had a 16-year-old the other day come up to me at an event. He makes $12K a month, and what he does, have you ever seen those TikToks that like the upper half of the video is like a Joe Rogan clip?
Yeah, but the other half's like a fucking video game or
Yeah.
shit.
So this kid makes those videos. He has like 7 channels. He does $12K a month. He just got started like 4 or 5 months ago doing that shit. I know literally like those kind of kids that are making more money than some adults doing that dumbass shit.
This new age of creating content, you can get like right now with short form content so much organic reach.
It's actually wild that this is a reality, and yes, you can do this. But what's funny is people in the comments are just so jealous that they didn't believe him. Like this guy, I used to tell crazy lies all the time too. Or this guy tried to calculate it through the YouTube Shorts RPM, but they're not making this money through YouTube, they're making it through TikTok. And TikTok is broken. It is paying you over $1 per 1,000 views. I get paid $1.36 per 1,000 views. And yes, it works for content that isn't your own as long as you make it transformative, but that's what these people are doing when they add GTA footage and captions. And it's crazy that that makes it transformative, but if you want more info like this, follow or you might never see me again.
Okay, yeah, so this was back in the day when TikTok was paying like absolutely crazy for the videos that you would post, and you could low-key get away with posting pretty much anything and still get paid for it. And so this video went super viral, 220K likes, 3 million views. And yeah, there's still people that are doing this. I had a guy on my podcast who literally makes a majority of his revenue by clipping streamers and doing fan pages for them. And he makes a majority of his revenue from actually ad revenue, so how much TikTok is paying him and how much YouTube is paying him. So yeah, that was actually a pretty good video. I used to always talk with this, and he makes $10,000 a month doing this, like that type of voice. I don't really do that anymore, but that was a fun time. The second thing that I said my channel was about is psychological solutions in business. So case studies where value was created pretty much purely psychologically with zero or no objective difference to the product. Now, I got a lot of these ideas from Rory Sutherland. This is his book right here, and it completely changed my perspective on approaching problems in business, because often we think we have to solve a problem logically by making the product objectively better, but we can also solve the problem psychologically by making the product feel better rather than actually making it better. And obviously to the consumer, there's actually no difference from their perspective. This happens a lot, for example, with waiting times, because a waiting time isn't actually about how long you have to wait, it's how long the wait feels. And there's a lot of things that you can do to make the wait feel less long, even though it actually takes the same amount of time. So for example, here was one of my most viral videos on this, and this is one that I still am pretty proud of. Not gonna lie, I'm playing this on 2x speed, so let's watch on 2x.
This meme about how loading screens work is actually true, and it's making tech companies richer than you can imagine. So many tech developers have already admitted that they fake loading bars, but why do they do this? Well, it's because when things take longer to load, companies make less money. For example, when Google tried increasing their load time by half a second, they lost 20% of their traffic. And when Amazon increased their latency by 1/10 of a second, they lost 1% of their sales. So looping back to loading screens, companies asked, what should we do when we can no longer reduce the latency on our site? We've got it as fast as possible, but there's still a slight wait time. How do we keep people from leaving during that wait? What they did was they manipulated how long the loading looked like it took to keep people there. This explains why loading screens often get stuck at 99% because they want you to stay for this beginning part, and then once it's here, you'll be more willing to wait longer. Another strategy they do is load in the skeleton of the page without actually filling in the details. You've probably seen YouTube do this, and this lets you know that it's working, it just needs one more second to actually load the video. Personally, I've always wondered why they don't include an interactive minigame when there's long loading times. Like when there's no internet, there's this little game with a dinosaur that you could play on Google, so why don't they do this when loading is going to take more than like 10 seconds? Not only would it keep the person entertained and make the wait feel less long, but it would also increase sales for the site because people are more willing to wait. If you like this case study, then you'll love my free newsletter in bio. Trust me, there's a reason 2,000 people have already joined.
Okay, so that was an insanely good video. The only thing I would change if I were to post this now, honestly, is just adding captions on the screen. We know that 40% of people watch with low or no volume, so having captions is literally a no-brainer. Anyways, yeah, I think this example really showed what I was trying to explain here, which is that you can use psychological solutions like changing how long the loading looks like it takes without actually changing the true loading time, and using that to keep more people on your website and actually make more money. There's a bunch of other examples of TikTok videos that I have on this, but we don't need to go through all of them. So next is about money exploits or attention exploits. It's cases where people find a glitch or an exploit in a financial market and abuse it to make a ton of money or get a lot of views/attention, especially if it goes against well-established rules or institutions such as the government or major corporations. Some examples of this, I'm sure you guys remember when Redditors beat Wall Street with the GameStop stock, but some other interesting ones that you might not know about is this one, where this guy was basically able to make $100 million with onion futures, and it's all because he found a loophole in our financial system. Now, the one thing is, this video is 3 minutes long, so again, I'm going to put this on 2x speed, and then let's react to this video.
This man found a $100 million loophole in our legal system, but the government didn't find out until it was too late. I know what you're thinking, probably another dickhead on Wall Street, but it was actually an onion farmer. The idea was to get a monopoly on onions, control all the supply, and then he could control the price and basically do whatever he wanted, but that wouldn't work. If you try to capture the entire supply of a given commodity, you're not going to be able to do it without the government getting suspicious and stopping you. But that's where this guy, Vincent Kasugo, had a stroke of genius. He realized most onion farmers were involved in something called futures trading. This is just a written agreement that you will exchange a quantity of your goods for a given price on a future date. This makes it easier for onion farmers to actually lock in prices before they make their harvest, and that way they can mitigate their risk. But he realized, hey, if I just use these future contracts to buy onions, I could probably get a majority of the onions in the country without anyone realizing. If I buy the futures contracts, I have the rights to these onions in the future at a given price, but no one will know that I started storing them because I didn't even physically get them yet. So that's what he did. He bought up a ton of onions futures, and no one really realized what he was doing until 6 months later when he had 98% of the total supply of onions. This meant that he could control the price, and at first he raised the price and made a decent amount of money from that, but he had one more trick up his sleeve. He decided to short the price of onions, meaning he bet against the price of them. So if the price went down, he would make money. Then once he took out major short positions on onions, he just released all the onions he had into the market, and when there's a ton of supply, the price is going to drop. And everything worked according to plan. The price plummeted. No one wanted to hold on to onions, and it was even negatively priced at one point. Like if you wanted to get an empty bag, that would cost you 20 cents, but if you wanted to get a bag with 50 pounds of onions in it, that would cost you even cheaper, 10 cents. There was just such an abundance that if you tried to give anyone onions, they would have to say, look, if you want to give this to me, you're going to have to pay me to take these off your hands because I don't want to store them or be the one responsible for getting rid of them. It got so crazy to the point where people started pouring all of the onions that they had into the Chicago River because they couldn't find anyone who wanted it. This wiped out traders, this wiped out farmers, but Vincent Kasuga walked away with $8.5 million, which is today's equivalent of $100 million. This was done in 1955, by the way. After enough people complained to Congress, they finally signed into law the Onions Futures Act of 1958. This made it illegal to sell futures on onions, and while this sounds like a good thing because now no one can ever use this exploit ever again, it actually means that farmers have a really tough time locking in prices, and this has disadvantaged onion farmers for the rest of eternity, all because of this one guy that found a genius exploit. If you like stories like this, I have a free newsletter where we go over even crazier examples.
Yeah, so that was genuinely just a good video. I would, of course, add captions again if I were to do this now. But I think what really made this video go super viral, 50K likes here, was the script. It was just really well written, a good hook, a really good story, and something that seems impossible but actually happened. I might make a rendition of this video on my channel because I think this story is a really inspirational version of someone thinking outside of the box and using that to make money. And again, what a crazy exploit that he was able to get away with. So yeah, you know what? I'm going to write this on my Discord now. I have a list where I put all my ideas. It will be the man who made 100M with an onion exploit. That sounds good. And then I'm not sure what I'm going to do for the thumbnail text yet, so I'm just going to leave that blank. But yeah, there's a lot like that, and even one of the people on my podcast that I talked to has a pretty similar story with YouTube verifications. He found an exploit and was able to make 300K at age 15 with it, which is absolutely absurd. Another thing that I would highlight on my channel is counterintuitive incentives or unintended consequences in business. There's a couple good examples of this. I had a TikTok where I talked about about one called the Cobra effect. And basically what happened is the government tried to reduce the population of cobras by putting a bounty on snakes. So they would say something like, for every dead snake that you bring the government, we'll give you $100. And if we all start doing this, we can slowly get rid of the population of cobras. But then people just brought a bunch of cobras to their basement, started breeding them, and they basically had an infinite money glitch, and the population of cobras never decreased. So what you can learn from this is that every time that there's a policy, there's a potential for you to take advantage of that policy because it will always have gaps. And so another version of this that I thought was even funnier was this kind of perverse incentive where this college counselor got so good that he was getting paid to do less work. So again, we'll throw this TikTok on 1.5 speed and let's see what he did here.
Imagine getting paid more money to do less work. Well, this happened with this college counselor, and here's exactly how. This guy is considered the GOAT of college counseling. He has an incredible track record of getting kids into the colleges that they want to get into. That being said, he charges his clients a lot, up to $120,000 a year per client just to tutor them to get them into the school that they want. But when you're at the top of your field, your bargaining power is immense, and this is when a parent came to him with an offer that he felt stupid saying no to. Because normally he'd work for around 10 students a year, making around 1.2 million, but this single parent offered him 1.5 million to not work with any of the other kids and to only work with his kid. The idea was that by hiring him to not work for anyone else, he could reduce the competition and give his own kid an even higher chance of getting into his desired school. But that is one hell of an offer. He would have to do 1/10 the amount of work he normally does, but he would make even more than he normally does. He ended up declining, but I think this really displays the importance of being extremely skilled. If you are so good at something that everyone wants to work with you, you are a scarce resource and people will pay you to not work for other people, and you can make more money by doing less work.
Yeah, so that is a really interesting story where basically he got so good that people were just paying him to not work for other people. Again, imagine being so valuable that you get paid to not work even though you could take on that work. I felt like this concept really aligned with what my channel likes to talk about, and I thought that was pretty cool. Another one was creative, somewhat unethical, or almost funny/ironic business models. There's so many good examples of this, but I'll just go over a couple of the funny ones. So first of all, you have Planet Fitness, which is a gym that relies on specifically marketing to people who they know will sign up to the gym but never actually go. And their entire business model is actually just making money off of people who forget to cancel their membership. They lose money on the people that actually use their equipment, but of all the people that they forget, they make that money back. Another one is Starbucks, who actually runs kind of like a bank. This isn't my video right here, but this is a pretty good video explaining how Starbucks is actually technically a bank.
Starbucks is not a coffee shop, it's actually a bank. They may sell over 8 million cups of coffee each day, but what actually makes them a bank? Well, when you go to pay for a coffee at Starbucks, the cashier then tells you, you can earn rewards for free coffee if you use the Starbucks app. Then you download the apps to start earning rewards. This is where Starbucks becomes a bank. Instead of paying with cash or a credit card, you can add money to your Starbucks account, allowing you to pay using the app on your iPhone. Over 41% of Starbucks customers keep chunks of cash in the app. And by the end of 2019, users collectively kept over $1.5 billion on their Starbucks card. Customers, of course, will exchange this for coffee at some point, but in the meantime, Starbucks has a $1.5 billion loan. They can choose to invest the money into the stock market, build more stores, or do as they please with it. Unlike a bank, though, they don't have to follow regulations. And they basically have a $1 billion loan with 0% interest from their customers. Thus, Starbucks has more money than 85% of the banks out there.
Which, yeah, that is insane. Starbucks is just holding money from their customers that they can literally do whatever they want with, including invest it. Another one that I thought was crazy was this one. It's a website called Order of Books. And basically what they do is they just write the order of books. So if I look up Harry Potter on their website, they have one called Order of Harry Potter Books, and you can just go here and see what the order of the books are that you're supposed to read them in. Now, apparently, this website was able to make $300K a month because they ranked #1 on Google search. And then to buy the books, you had to go through this affiliate link. So people would just look up what comes after Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. And then when people saw that it was Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets, people would just click buy since that's the one they wanted next. And then this company would make commission off of someone buying that book. And then obviously they just did that with so many books that ultimately it ended up being over $300,000 per month, which is absurd. And in fact, this idea is so good that I think I'm also going to make a video on this one. So it's going to be something like why SEO plus affiliate marketing is broken. Thumbnail text, $300K per month. Something like that. So look for that video coming up soon. Another thing I really love is out-of-the-box thinking in business. So for example, one of my videos on this was about this Thai food restaurant that really thought out of the box to make extra money. So check this out.
A little outside of the box thinking will make you rich, and that's exactly what this Thai restaurant proved when they named themselves. While every single other Thai restaurant in New York City was naming themselves some random name that no one would ever remember, this Thai food place literally named themselves Thai Food Near Me. While this goes against every standard business practice, by thinking outside of the box, they were able to get a huge competitive advantage. Instead of spending tons of money marketing, all they had to do was name themselves Thai Food Near Me, and now every time someone typed into Google Thai Food Near Me, they would rank at the top without even paying or having reviewed. Restaurants with 5-star reviews were ranking below this restaurant when you looked it up because they were just smarter. And this type of out-of-the-box thinking is exactly what separates the affluent from the very, very wealthy. To be above mere affluence, you have to do what other people won't, so that means you have to go against the grain and be right. This restaurant went against the grain and was 100% right, and if you like stories like this, join my newsletter in bio for more.
Okay, yeah, so a little bit of yap there at the end, but you get the point. Pretty genius. They named themselves Thai food near me to rank above people. Okay, so this one doesn't matter. This one, though, is pretty interesting. Unethical ways to make money. I know how that sounds, but I genuinely just like exploring this. So a lot of these follow a very simple framework where you create the problem and sell the solution. Another funny example that I saw was selling to protesters and counter protesters. So for example, going to an LGBTQ protest, selling gay pride flags, and then going to an anti-LGBTQ protest and selling anti-LGBTQ flags as well, and making money off both sides. The truth is, you don't have any morals or values or anything like that. You just want to make money, and so you'll sell to both sides. And lastly, the thing that I like to post, which really I think I've came through on this channel with, is tutorials on how to make money online. If you go to my TikTok, you can see I had videos on how to make money with the TikTok Creativity Fund, and to this day, I post videos on this YouTube channel showing you guys how I did YouTube automation or more. Out of everything, this is probably one thing that I get the most joy out of, actually helping people and showing how I made money online and how they can do the exact same thing. So yeah, that's what my channel is about, and that's me reviewing some of my old videos and old ideas. This video was really fun for me to record, so I hope you guys enjoyed it as much as I did. And thank you guys all so much for watching. I'll catch you on the next video, and peace.